Hello everyone and welcome to Black Lion TV. Today's thoughts are going to be on Dead or Alive 6, and no disrespect, it's kind of slow. Let's start off with some positive thoughts about the game. The game release is giving us a new mechanic system called the Break Gauge, or the Special System. The system comes with a couple of new tricks that are actually really neat. One being the Fatal Rush. As long as you keep pressing the special button, you can do a series of attacks that cannot be held or countered. The Break Hold, and this is actually one of the favorites that I like. It's a universal counter that counters almost everything, just by pressing back and special at the right time. However, you do need gauge to do it, so you better fill up that meter. The last thing I want to say that we get that's really neat is called the Break Blow. And this is really just a critical blow, except, it has a much cooler finisher at the end. We also get a new sidestep mechanic by pressing the up or down direction in the special button, and then hitting the special button again. This puts a lot of distance between you and your opponent, so it's really good for getting rid of the pressure that somebody's applying to you. Now, new mechanics and all is neat for this game, but it's lacking in a lot of other areas. For starters, how do you not include a lobby mode for online? This is a basic mode that you've had in your past two DOA games. For those of you who aren't aware, lobby mode is another online mode aside from rank that lets you fight and play with your friends without having to worry about the increase in rank or rank period. Personally, I tend to think rank mode can be a little too competitive and get to you after a while, so lobby mode is a nice break from it. But Dead or Alive 6 doesn't have that mode. I'm not impressed with the aesthetic of Dead or Alive 6. Starting with the basic design of the main menu, I find it very bland, boring, and not as appealing as it could be. The previous titles had a camera panning background around different stages. Not to mention, in the last entry, Dead or Alive 5 had a much better look for its main menu. The sort of gritty, street-like feel really brought out the urge to fight, especially with the great background music it had too. Now, they gave that up for just a character staring at you. At least I can get my costumes the same way. Just run through arcade mode and get what I need. No. The game decided to extend its replay value by making costumes RNG. Now you have to get costume parts, which drop at random depending on you completing certain game modes or certain things within the game. And because they're random, you don't know whose costume you're gonna get, and then you have to get the parts, which aren't very much. Like you only get like 25 or 75, and it's kind of stupid, honestly. They fixed this in a patch to give you more stuff, or at least more parts, but I don't see why we need to get costume parts just to get our costume. It takes forever to unlock the costumes that you want. It was different in the past because arcade mode was never really as long, and you at least got your costumes upon completing the arcade mode. Now it just feels like a chore. Why should it feel like a chore to get these costumes when it never has? It feels like a cheap way to get you to do the quest mode for Dead or Alive. Now, I expected a lot out of this mode at the very least. Dead or Alive was based off Virtua Fighter, so I was hoping their quest mode would somewhat mirror VF's, but it's just a bunch of random ragtag missions you do with different characters, and it's stupid. It's ugly, the mode is cheap, and then you don't even really get that many costume parts from it. It's probably one of the fastest ways to get your costume parts, which is also stupid in my opinion because it's still RNG. Why are costumes RNG, and why do we have this useless quest mode in here that's not even that fun? There's nothing exciting about it, and the way it plays, it might as well be a more grandiose version of the tutorial. The story for Dead or Alive 6 felt very cheap. None of the scenes had any heavy substance to them, and there were terrible camera angle shots. You don't connect with any of the characters in the story, as some of the scenes are so short you don't even get to feel what the characters feel in each scene. Each scene could tell a whole lot more, and the way they are shot from some of the terrible angles is just bad. It feels as if they really just rushed this. They put in a couple of cool effects and then just threw it onto a screen with some action script. It's terrible. My final thoughts on Dead or Alive 6 is that it is a very, very watered down version of Dead or Alive 5. I got so bored with the game I even went back and played Dead or Alive 5 just to have a little bit more fun. Looking at how they marketed DOA 5 when it came out and everything they did to upgrade the system from 4, there's really no excuse why 6 is as bad as it is. The game doesn't look that special at all, and it doesn't have much to keep players there except a very tedious costume system built on RNG, which is terrible still because you have to go through hell just to get the stuff, assuming you get the costume you want. The single player modes are okay, but there's no real reward with them, and it loses fun after a while, unless you love playing survival. But hey, those are my thoughts on it. Now let me hear some of yours down in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe. Bye!